Hello everyone, my name is Harley and welcome to TransByDef. This week's topic we're going to be talking about, would you date another transsexual? Especially me being transsexual, would I date another transsexual? So, something happened in the past with Facebook. We had a Facebook discussion one time, a while back ago, and the discussion was really about, the question was, if a transsexual does not want to date another transsexual, or chooses not to date any transsexual, does that make that transsexual transphobic? And that was an interesting discussion because of the fact was I learned some things too. Like one thing I really took out of that was the fact that I kind of had my definition wrong. I always thought, well, transphobia was more of a fear, but when I actually kind of dug it in, and I noticed even in the discussion there was some people that were talking about fear versus this other part, which is prejudice. And when you actually look into like the definition, phobia, if a phobia root is used that is not related to a psychology, then it's actually a prejudice. So it's like if you say homophobia, it means that you are prejudiced against homosexuals, or transphobic, you're prejudiced against transsexuals or transgenders. So it was really interesting, and I actually took that out, and it made me help communicate very well with that. But really, back to the topic, we had that discussion, and so this is very related to it in a sense. As for me, before I get into yes or no, because it's not really a yes or no for me, well, it is a yes, I would, but let me just get into what it is for me. I'm very, very picky when it comes to choosing someone to date. Some people only require an emotional attraction, and I give them props because I wish I could do that, but for some reason I need both physical attraction and emotional attraction. I actually, met someone, was friends with someone, and we've had such an emotional connection, such an emotional bond. The only problem was this person was a guy, and I couldn't find the masculine features of this person attractive, physical attractive. I wasn't attracted to that. And so it really bothered me because it was like, even if I tried to force myself, it wouldn't work. So that's when I realized, well, I have to have both. I have to have a physical attraction and emotional attraction with a person. It's really hard, but it kind of sucks. That's why I give props to the people who can only just do, who can just do emotional, and it's great. As far as like my really, like, I guess it's like a chart or something of like where my graph is. I mean, I kind of find that internally, like identity or like actions or emotions, like there's like the spectrum of masculine and feminine, and I kind of go for more of a feminine, internally, as well as an external appearance too. So rather than masculine and feminine, I kind of go for more of a feminine person, like like lipstick femmes or blue jean femmes or something like that, or very close to femme. I don't do butch or anything like that, but so there is that appearance and internal as well for masculine and feminine. Also, I also have more of, I guess it's called a physical attractiveness, like what you define as attractive. For example, like with your certain fitness functions, and I say fitness functions because it's almost like how to rate what's more, attractive to you, and everyone's different if you have a physical attraction to people. If you have that, for example, mine is more like I'm kind of a sucker for metal goth girls, so it really, it's really funny, but I really find them really attractive. So, and then also I can't forget the emotional connection. Sharing the same interest or activities. And actually that is one thing that I do see, that it's almost like a flip case for transsexuals. Like there are some transsexuals that really, bond with other transsexuals because of that gender dysphoria, that, hey, I've been through it, you understand me well. And then there's the flip side where there are some transsexuals that, don't want to have a partner, where it's like, well, I went through it, I know how it is, I don't want to share that with someone, because it was terrible for me. So, excuse me, I just say, ooh. Sorry, but so there's that flip side of it. So it's interesting how you see that happen. as for me, I don't know if I, I mean, I guess I could date someone who's transsexual, that shares gender dysphoria, but I'd rather have them almost like finished with it, because going through it's an emotional process, and I'd rather have someone that's nearly almost finished with their gender dysphoria, because it's nasty it was nasty for me. So anyways, one argument that kind of happened during our discussion was like, it was interesting because I'm a lesbian, and so I like women, and so the thing was like, well, how do you expect others to accept you as a woman if you don't date a trans woman, or if you choose not to date any trans woman? And it's a really good argument. And the thing was, I mean, I'm not going to say yay or nay, because I just wanted to clarify a point with that. Was, the thing was, it's like, well, if you say man or woman, you really are referring to a gender binary. And, it's so easy to disprove the gender binary, because you have, you could disprove by example, which is you have androgynous people, you have gender queers, but you also have like really masculine looking men that are very feminine on the inside, and then vice versa, so, there is a spectrum, it exists, and with that spectrum, I kind of believe that there's two aspects of the spectrum. It's not just a line, it's more of a two-dimension, because you have the internal spectrum of what a person is on the inside, for with masculine and feminine, and also a physical appearance on the outside, which is either masculine or feminine. And sometimes it doesn't matter whether it's a physical to people, so it's kind of like that emotional drive with attraction, and no physical drive. So it's, so I do feel that there is, more than just a linear, spectrum. There's more of a two-dimensional spectrum, and maybe even more dimensions than that. So it's really interesting. The thing is, it's like, where would I choose someone if they fell into a spectrum? Well, the thing is, they would have to be on the feminine side of it, like I do find, when girls are more feminine appearance, I find that more attractive. I don't know why, I just do. So, and then when, girls internally can be like anywhere from like sort of tomboyish and, maybe a little bit masculine to feminine, maybe I can deal with that. But, so they would have to fit in that pocket over there. So it's really interesting. So another little question that kind of arises is like, well, what about post-op or pre-op for transsexuals? And the thing is, it's like a pre-op transsexual, a girl, I can't date. I wouldn't be able to go out, because I'm not attracted to penises. I know it's kind of funny in the way I say it, but I'm not attracted to a penis. So it's like, it's really hard for me to have that bond with someone when I require both physical attractiveness and emotional attractiveness. And when if someone has a penis, it's gonna turn me off, because I'm not attracted. I'm attracted to vaginas. So then when you kind of ask the same question, well, what about post-op? And that's the thing. It's like, hey, if they fit into that pocket where I'm, find, the feminine, feminine, if they fit in that pocket and they're post-op, yes, I would totally date a transsexual. So it's, it kind of goes into that aspect. It really depends, because the spectrum is so huge. There's so little like ranges of where, where to find the actual parts of it, of what you like. But the other thing is, another thing was like, well, what if you have a transsexual that is just starting, or a transsexual that is pre-op but is going to go into post-op? Well, what do you do then? And I hate to say it, but the thing is, it's like, at the time, I'm not going to be attracted to that person at that time, but after I probably would be, but not at the time. So I do find it would be hard for me to have it like a physical and emotional attractive to make that bond. I probably would have the emotional attraction, but not as much as the physical as I would like. So it's really kind of up to me if I feel like I can, like something else counterweighs that, maybe. But it would be really hard for me because I'm not attracted to penises, so yeah, I mean, that's kind of my 10 cents of it, you know. So, um, you know, hopefully I said everything. I don't want to offend anyone, but I find that, you know, everyone cisgender, you know, everyone cisgender, transgender, there's all these spectrums, and everyone fits in that category. Everyone fits in the spectrum, and it's, it really isn't based on whether they're transsexual or not. And I think that's a good point, is to emphasize that it's not a gender binary, it's a spectrum, you know. And I think when people start realizing that, you know, transsexuals be a little bit more accepted into that, you know. So I think that's a really good, you know, goal to kind of push for. Anyways, my name's Harley, and I'm signing out. Thanks for watching. Bye.